The submarine runs silent at 300 feet. Speed, 4 knots. This is combat power where stealth defeats size and patience defeats speed. The nuclear attack submarine has been trailing the carrier battle group for 11 hours. The sonar signature is clear. USS Theodore Roosevelt, 90,000 tons, nuclear-powered, 4,000 crew. The escort screen consists of 2 destroyers and 1 cruiser. Standard formation, predictable geometry. The submarine commander studies the plot. Range to carrier, 21,000 meters. Too far for a certain kill. The Mark 48 torpedo has range, but the escorts have time to react. The doctrine is simple. Close to 12,000 meters. Achieve firing solution. Launch. Evade. The submarine turns to intercept course. Speed remains 4 knots. Any faster, and the propeller cavitation increases. Noise equals detection. Detection equals death. At 4 knots, the submarine is nearly silent. The reactor cooling pumps make minimal sound. The hull is coated with anechoic tiles. They absorb active sonar pings. The crew moves in soft shoes. Conversations are whispered. Every valve turn is deliberate. This is the art of submarine warfare. Silence is survival. The carrier battle group steams at 18 knots. They believe their sonar perimeter is secure. The destroyers run towed sonar arrays. The cruiser operates hull-mounted passive sonar. But the submarine approaches from the thermal layer. The ocean temperature gradient bends sonar waves. Creates blind spots. The submarine commander exploits this physics. At 0340 hours, the range closes to 16,000 meters. The sonar operator reports new contacts. Helicopter, SH-60 Seahawk. Range, 8,000 meters. The helicopter drops sonobuoys, active acoustic sensors. They ping the water column. The submarine commander orders immediate dive. Speed remains 4 knots. Depth increases to 450 feet, below the thermal layer. The sonobuoy pings pass overhead, reflected by the temperature boundary. The submarine remains undetected. The helicopter moves on. At 0418 hours, the submarine rises to 300 feet. Range to carrier, 14,000 meters. The firing solution improves. Bearing rate is stable. Target course is steady. The weapons officer prepares tubes 1 and 2. Mark 48 ADCAP torpedoes. Wire-guided. Active-passive acoustic seekers. Warhead, 293 kilograms. Speed, 55 knots. Range, 38,000 meters. Weapon costs $3.8 million. The submarine carries 24. At 0447 hours, range closes to 12,000 meters. The submarine commander orders periscope depth. The photonics mast extends. Night vision optics scan the horizon. The carrier is visible. Flight deck lights illuminate the superstructure. Aircraft are spotted on deck. Launch operations are imminent. The periscope retracts. The submarine returns to 300 feet. Firing position is achieved. The commander gives the order. Flood tubes 1 and 2. Which force breaks first? A. Air defense. B. Naval group. C. Command network. The torpedo tubes flood with seawater. Outer doors open. Hydraulic systems cycle. The weapons are ready. At 0451 hours, the command is given. Fire tube 1. The Mark 48 torpedo ejects from the tube. Compressed air drives it clear of the hull. The wire guidance spool unrolls. The torpedo motor starts. Speed, 40 knots initially. The weapon runs straight for 3,000 meters. Then the guidance system activates. The torpedo turns toward the carrier bearing. Speed increases to 55 knots. At 0452 hours, fire tube 2. Second torpedo away. Same profile, same target. 2 weapons in the water. Time to impact. 6 minutes, 40 seconds. The submarine turns hard to starboard. Speed increases to 12 knots. Depth increases to 500 feet. Evasion pattern begins. The carrier's escort destroyers detect the torpedo launch transient. Sonar operators hear the compressed air discharge. Bearing is determined. Range is calculated. Contact is classified as hostile submarine. The tactical action officer sounds general quarters, battle stations. The destroyer closest to the submarine bearing increases speed to 30 knots. Active sonar goes online. High-frequency pulses flood the water. The submarine is painted. Range, 11,800 meters. Depth, 500 feet. Course, 090. The destroyer fires 2 Mark 54 lightweight torpedoes from helicopter deck launchers, anti-submarine weapons. Speed, 45 knots. Range, 10,000 meters. Time to intercept, 4 minutes. The carrier detects the inbound torpedoes. Range, 11,200 meters. Time to impact, 6 minutes, 20 seconds. The carrier begins evasive maneuvers. Hard turn to port. Speed increases to 28 knots, but a carrier is not agile. The turn radius is measured in kilometers. The acceleration is gradual. Physics limits response time. What happens next changes everything. The destroyer prosecuting the submarine deploys a towed array decoy, acoustic emitter. It mimics the carrier's signature. The first Mark 48 torpedo detects the decoy. Seeker head locks on. The weapon turns toward the false target. It detonates against the decoy at 04:56 hours. Explosion at 4,000 meters. Shockwave propagates through water. The carrier feels the impact. No damage. The second torpedo ignores the decoy. Advanced signal processing. Pattern recognition. The seeker differentiates between real and false targets. It maintains course toward the carrier. Range, 7,000 meters. Speed, 55 knots. The carrier deploys torpedo countermeasures, acoustic decoys, bubble generators, electronic jammers. The water around the carrier becomes confused with signals. But the Mark 48 is designed for this environment. The seeker tracks the largest acoustic signature. The carrier's 4 bronze propellers, each one 5.8 meters in diameter, spinning at 105 RPM. The acoustic signature is massive. At 04:57 hours, the second destroyer achieves firing position on the torpedo. Standoff range, 2,000 meters. The destroyer fires an anti-torpedo torpedo, small interceptor. Speed, 60 knots. It tracks the Mark 48. Time to intercept, 1 minute, 8 seconds. The interceptor closes. Seeker activates. The warhead detonates near the Mark 48. Shaped charge, focused blast. The pressure wave disrupts the torpedo guidance wire. The Mark 48 loses wire guidance. It switches to autonomous mode. Active sonar pinger activates. The weapon begins terminal homing. Range to carrier, 4,000 meters. Time to impact, 2 minutes, 12 seconds. This is combat power, where seconds determine whether a carrier survives or sinks. The carrier continues evasive turns. The flight deck crew secures all aircraft. Damage control teams stand ready. Watertight doors seal. The ship braces for impact. At 04:58 hours, the third destroyer drops an over-the-side depth charge pattern. Emergency countermeasure. The charges detonate in a line between the torpedo and carrier. Explosions create a wall of pressure and noise. The Mark 48 seeker is momentarily confused, but the weapon reacquires. Carrier bearing is steady. Range, 2,800 meters. The carrier's final defense activates. Nixie torpedo decoy system, towed acoustic generator. It emits a signal louder than the carrier. The Mark 48 seeker locks onto the Nixie. The weapon turns, follows the tow cable. At 04:59 hours, the torpedo strikes the Nixie decoy. Detonation, 293 kilograms of high explosive. Shockwave hits the carrier's stern. The hull shudders. Rudder hydraulics fail. Propeller shaft bearings suffer shock damage. But the hull is intact. No flooding. No casualties. The carrier survives. Meanwhile, the submarine evades. The 2 Mark 54 anti-submarine torpedoes are closing. Range, 3,000 meters. The submarine deploys countermeasures, acoustic decoys, gas generators, chemical releases that create false contacts. The submarine increases speed to 25 knots. Depth decreases to 250 feet. Evasion is now speed-dependent. Silence is abandoned. Survival depends on outrunning the weapons. The first Mark 54 homes on a decoy. Detonates at 1,000 meters. No damage to the submarine. The second Mark 54 maintains track. Active sonar pings constantly. Range closes to 800 meters. The submarine makes an emergency maneuver. Hard dive. Full speed. 32 knots. Depth increases to 650 feet. The Mark 54 follows. Range, 500 meters. The submarine commander orders emergency ballast blow. High-pressure air floods the ballast tanks. The submarine rises rapidly. Depth decreases from 650 feet to 400 feet in 18 seconds. The Mark 54 cannot compensate. The weapon passes beneath the submarine. It circles, reacquires, but the submarine has gained distance. Range, 900 meters. The torpedo runs out of fuel. Motor stops. The weapon sinks. The submarine escapes. At 05:04 hours, the engagement ends. Carrier damaged, but operational. Submarine escaped, but location compromised. The battle group reforms. Helicopters launch. Sonobuoys deploy in grid pattern. The submarine goes deep and silent again. 450 feet, 4 knots. How many torpedoes can a submarine launch simultaneously? A. 2. B. 4. C. 8. The answer is B. Most attack submarines have 4 torpedo tubes. They can launch all 4 in rapid sequence. Some newer designs have 8 tubes. The submarine in this scenario used only 2 tubes. Doctrine is to save remaining weapons, reload, re-engage, necessary defense or catastrophic overreach. The carrier battle group nearly lost its centerpiece. 90,000 tons almost sent to the bottom by one submarine. The cost imbalance is extreme. Attack submarine cost, $2.8 billion. Carrier cost, $13 billion. If combat power decides wars, type combat power. The engagement proves the enduring threat of submarine warfare. Stealth defeats size. Patience defeats speed. Acoustic mastery defeats billion-dollar surface platforms. The carrier group now faces a choice: continue operations in contested water or withdraw to safer zones. The submarine remains in theater. Hunting. This is the psychological power of undersea warfare. One submarine creates strategic paralysis. Surface forces cannot operate with confidence. Every sonar contact is a potential threat. Every thermal layer is a hiding place. At 06:12 hours, another submarine contact is reported. Range, 18,000 meters. The carrier battle group increases alert status. The lesson is learned. Surface dominance is an illusion when submarines control the depths. What would you order next?